I'm probably a little late to the hype train for this movie, but I just saw Boogie Nights and I wanted to get up on here and talk about it. For Paul Thomas Anderson, I haven't been as keen to like venture into his work as some other directors. The first film I saw from him was Magnolia, which I was about a year ago, and I didn't like it. I found it to be a drag, but in my head, it's aging pretty well. I saw Punch Drunk Love, which I did enjoy. I saw Inherent Vice, which it's not a great first watch for a movie, but I feel like once I watch it, there are parts of it that are really good. I saw One Battle, and upon a second viewing, it was my favorite movie last year. Last year was one of the best years for movies ever. Licorice Pizza, I thought was phenomenal, except maybe certain acting performances, if you know. But yeah, Boogie Nights. Aside from One Battle and There Will Be Blood, this is probably his most well-known film. Before going to this movie, I expected, as I've heard, something like Scorsese-esque, getting some Goodfellas in there. I've heard comparisons, and maybe some Tarantino-esque, Pulp Fiction, but something, yeah. It was fucking great, man. And I feel like lately I've been slacking off, and like reels and scrolling, which just absolutely fries anyone's attention span, and gives them like ADD, to be honest. There are certain movies I've watched, movie experiences I've had, where I'm just like, I'm watching it, but I might as well not be watching it because I can't focus. But it's time to lock the fuck in, nobody needs short form content. You gotta limit yourself. You can do it, but limit yourself, So I've been revisiting classics, I've been watching new ones, and I'm back, baby. I'm back in my movie watching mojo, you know what I mean? I watched Whiplash the other day for like second or third time. The movie's a goddamn masterpiece. This and Boogie Nights, I didn't lose my attention for a single second. And maybe it's because it's just a high energy, high paced movie that's right up my alley. But yeah, let's just talk about the movie. Yeah, so I'm not as big of a fan of some of the graphic elements as other people are. Not just in terms of sex, but also just like gore. No, I'm not against it, like I'm not afraid of it, but I'm not into the extreme of anything, and that goes beyond movies. But this movie, it's a little perverse, but beyond that, it's much more. It feels almost like a tragedy to me. I've seen a couple Mark Wahlberg movies. I think this is not his best. I didn't find him that great in the movie, to be honest, and not as a believable 17-year-old. In fact, it looked like he got younger as the movie went on. I don't know the order they shot it. Burt Reynolds, I'm not familiar with his old work and his filmography, so might have to tune into that. Julianne Moore is one of them ones for me. She's one of my favorite actors. Yeah, so this is a star-studded cast, and the movie ended kind of suddenly, and I like that in movies, when the movie ends, but I was so locked into the movie that when it cut to black, I'm like, oh shit, it's over, it's already over. And it's a 2.5 hour movie. It's really fucking hard for a movie to do that at 2.5 hours. That I'm so focused and locked in and excited that I'm surprised and upset to see it end. But yeah, there are some sequences in this movie that evoke Licorice Pizza. There's a lot of Magnolia, and maybe I should revisit Magnolia because I love this movie. And some Inherent Vice also. Absolutely no One Battle. Absolutely no Punch Drunk Love. But yeah, you can see how this being one of his earlier films marked him as one of the next up-and-coming directors. In fact, I saw this headline for an article from the 90s that said he's the next Tarantino, which I found kind of stupid because Tarantino got his start in the 90s. So that's like saying nowadays he's the next Damien Chazelle. I guess more recent than that, but anyway, like the God Only Knows sequence was incredible. Everything with Alfred Molina. I love movies like this. I love Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Licorice Pizza, Wolf of Wall Street, movies that, and Marty Supreme too. Just jump from plot point to plot point. It's just like a journey, And in this movie, like, I don't think a lot of other filmmakers are having that Alfred Molina scene. I don't think a lot of other filmmakers are having Don Cheadle walk into a donut shop and end up being the sole survivor by doing nothing but standing still. That scene was crazy, and maybe the industry didn't directly cause that, but it's just showing, like, the movie's about people settling. The movie's, like, look, it's late. I don't want to dive into all the meanings and everything, but this is a good-ass movie, and I want to document this, having watched it not even, like, 10 minutes ago. Just a good-ass movie. Good fucking movie. Nice job, Paul Thomas Anderson. I don't know why Burt Reynolds walked out of the theater on this one. The movie definitely got better as it went along. So, yep, if you saw this movie, let me know what you thought. Peace out.